Imagine a chaotic, over-the-top arena fighter in a post-apocalypse setting, coming from the twisted brilliance behind Mad World and Bayonetta. Now, imagine it buried under terrible marketing, delayed releases, and forgotten by the mainstream media. This is the rise and fall and return of Anarchy Reigns, one of Platinum Games' sleeper hit multiplayer games that never got the love it deserved, but still refuses to die.
If I could find one word to describe Anarchy Reigns, it's probably anarchy. I feel like the name of the game really just describes the feeling that you get when you play the game.
And it was like a very crazy experience. If that was like the word to describe it, it was like crazy.
Come on, don't make me beat my cut up out of you, motherfucker.
To this day, I've yet to find a game with similar gameplay that beats it.
Anarchy reigns.
Anarchy Reigns, known in Japan as Max Anarchy, is a beat-em-up video game developed by Platinum Games and published by Sega for the PS3 and Xbox 360. Released in Japan July 5th, 2012, North America on January 8th, 2013, and in Europe on January 11th, 2013. It is the spiritual successor to the Wii video game Mad World, another very unique game forever stuck on the Wii. The game was produced by Asushi Inaba and directed by Masaki Yamanaka. On the surface, Anarchy Reigns looks like a button-mashing brawler, but if you dig deeper, you'll find a surprisingly technical system with layers of depth. Players could sprint, dodge, parry, grab, and manage your killer weapon meter, which is tied to your abilities, all while watching the entire stage change around you, adding stage hazards, NPCs, and sometimes weather disasters or even bosses will just show up in the middle of a match, which is one of the many unique things about this game. Think of the game as your Bayonetta Devil May Cry sandbox with PvP, PvE multiplayer added on top of it. This game has one of the most well put together OSTs out there, even Mad World as well, but good god banger after banger.
Yo, you don't know me and you don't know I'm going through, so fuck you and your lame ass point of view. That should have been my whole mission from the start. You put it together, I tear it all apart. What?
Did I even mention that Bayonetta is a guest character in this game? A guest character. Way before you started seeing like a big occurrence with modern fighting games of today, just having all these different guest characters like 2B from Nier, and the list goes on. It's crazy looking back at how many different game modes are available to play online with your randoms and friends. 13 different game modes to choose from. Things like Battle Royale, which is your free-for-all up to 16 players, which I feel is where the game shines super bright. There is your classic TDM, Capture the Flag, Co-op PvE, which is your survival mode. Death Ball, on the other hand, is also something that is like drastically unique, similar to Blitz, in a Bayonetta style-like gameplay on top of the mix. Either by throwing or carrying the ball is how you're going to end up winning the match. There is your 2v2 tag team battle where you can tag in and out your partner mid-match, 1v1 dual cage matches, Battle Royale tag mode, which is your 2v2v2s, survival tag, Mad Survival, where you're going to be surviving waves of enemies, but also the playable characters in the game is who you're going to end up fighting in this one. Firefight, which is flying combat with the helicopters, there is like just a plethora of so many different game modes that you can do in this. Even the community has discovered advanced mechanics like twitch canceling, launch loops, anti-air cancels, delayed charge feints, parry buffering, tick grabs, hit confirm option selects, and tech-specific loops for characters like Zero, Nikolai, and Garuda. So this game was breathing with many possibilities when it came to tech to further push the game's gameplay potential. At launch, along with those early months of the game's life, the online community was vibrant. Players flocked to Battle Royale, TDM, and Tag Battle modes, which were among the popular go-to game modes. But the initial wave of hype in the community aspect didn't last too long. While Japan and parts of Europe embraced the game, North America didn't even know it released. Still unknown to this very day, Sega delayed the Western release by 6 months after its Japanese launch for marketing reasons. It's all they could say, which I'm sure frustrated even the team behind the game, because ironically, the Japanese version, as soon as you pop the disc in, hit play, it is already fully in English. So no one can understand what was the initial holdup or why mess with the momentum word of mouth of the game had going for it. When it finally dropped in January 2013, no ads, no hype, no campaign, $30 budget price, many fans accused Sega of self-sabotage on the game. The community had the hardest time just trying to retain players during that time. Either those would leave due to not being able to keep up with the player base that's been grinding the whole time. The other issue, in my opinion, which is the worst case scenario, was the fact that spreading the word for the game was so hard to do because Sega just didn't bother promoting it. So trying to talk to people about this game, while it is released within the same month as Ninja Theory's DMC game and Ni no Kuni, so it was already an uphill battle. Now, just because we are way beyond the 7th generation of gaming doesn't mean it's completely buried in the gutter. A dedicated core community, especially on Discord and some forums, refuse to let the chaos of Anarchy Reigns fade away. People are still gathering together to host times to play in the Anarchy Reigns Discord on PS3 and Xbox 360. You'll find both communities coming together to keep the spirit of the game alive. Even slowly, the RPCS3 emulator is becoming another alternative for those that don't own any of the 7th generation consoles. Though some kinks still need to be ironed out, there are some crashes that do happen here and there at random during matches, or even simply trying to load into online. I feel it'll work itself out due time, but I feel this is a perfect opportunity to let several community members, new and old veterans, speak on behalf of the community themselves and their experiences with Anarchy Reigns.
Hi, I am Tara Wintour, or known as TJ Lockhart in the community.
My username is Anon7906. On a PlayStation where I played Anarchy, it's Shizzly23.
Well, I used to go by many names back on Xbox, but the one that I guess people most known me from Anarchy was NemesisQueen.
So on the Xbox, yeah, it was Dr. Nobody.
So my Xbox 360 name back in the day was RoboDucky123.
The name is Deadlocked.
My name, I go by Hater Fisternator, or at least I used to on Xbox Live.
I go by Roasted Pheasant in most online communities, including the FGC.
The thing that gravitated me to Anarchy Reigns was the anarchy. I enjoy the fact that there's so many people playing at once. You know, not many games did something like that, and not many games do things like that in the way Anarchy Reigns handled it. You know, there's battle royales everywhere, but it's like, I guess it's the one game where you can shove a light post through your opponent's head and like throw tire around them. So I guess like just the creativity and how they handled like the battle royale concept really caught my attention, along with the character designs and the story. And if I could find one word to describe Anarchy Reigns, it's probably Anarchy. I feel like the name of the game really just describes the feeling that you get when you play the game. Sadly, I was not around during the peak popularity of the game, but I did like treasure the game at its peak because I didn't have a PS3, so I just had to watch from the sidelines. But I've been around for quite a while. The biggest part was on Sega's behalf. Releasing the game in America at the start of the new year, especially after everyone had already spent their money and was tired out during the holidays. I feel like it was probably like the worst move they could have made because everyone was already burnt out on the releases of that year because, the holiday season is the best time to purchase a game. And I feel like maybe Sega has a history of negligence on their releases. I feel like Anarchy Reigns got the Sega Saturn treatment. They had the best opportunity to show the world something strong, something powerful, something unique. But they missed the mark, and that's just really sad to say. And I do think that the Metal Gear Rising Resurgence was also coming out, or came out during the time the US release, probably a bit prior. I might be getting my dates mixed up. So I feel like it was just like, I think they were trying to use like some bleed over popularity from that game at what they thought was going to be like the most popular game of the year. And I don't think they properly estimated the popularity of their game and kind of lazy their way into releasing it. I feel like maybe some more thinking might have been needed for the time they released the game in the West.
How do you feel now seeing that the community is still trying to like restructure itself and organize events and matchmaking for Anarchy Reigns, still kicking it and refusing to let this game to die, even with the PS3 emulator on PC, even with it being somewhat janky, it's still showing growth there, that there's potential to have it even on PC.
It makes me really happy because, I kind of come up. I had my come up in this community, so I saw the community at when it had hit rock bottom, where it felt like this game didn't have the chance to come back. And, a part of me had always had high hopes that, we would never give up, and we haven't. We're still fighting really strong. And with the moves to even emulate the game on PC, I feel like this game is probably the has the most potential to be brought back some way, somehow on modern tech, because, again, even though we have a oversaturation of battle royale games, Fortnite, etc., the way Anarchy Reigns handles it seems like it's stand out. So this is probably the best game, the best time with modern consoles, the technology that we have to bring it to the present. So I'm so happy that our community is constantly fighting and trying to show that this game won't die, regardless of how things may seem. A niche community will always fight hard for what it believes in and what it wants, and our community is no different.
The reason why I was interested in Anarchy is because I played Mad World on the Wii. So I saw Anarchy and I was like, holy shit, there's a sequel to Mad World? So that's why I got it. I imported it because they delayed the Western release by like half a year, I think. So I've been there since the beginning. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't bother with the single player that much. I really didn't. But everything else, I love everything else about the game. Everything. Soundtrack, gameplay, character designs are nice. Like the maps, I like all the damn modes. I really love Anarchy. To this day, I've yet to find a game with similar gameplay that beats it. Because I've tried a lot of brawlers and PvP arena fighters and stuff. Nothing comes close. So I love Anarchy. It's the best, as far as I'm concerned. I love it. I still think about this game to this day. Whenever I play a brawler or an arena fighter or something, my brain just goes to Anarchy, and it makes me miss Anarchy even more. I have yet to find something to fill the hole. I think the delay was probably the main problem in terms of the player base and the way the game sold, because most people who really wanted the game, they just imported it. The Western release kind of helped with activity, but not much. There still wasn't that many people on, even around or after the Western release. We usually ended up playing with like the same faces, same names. Even during Western release, there was, like, I'd say, a handful of new people that stuck around, but for the most part, the game was only active for like maybe like a month after Western release before started seeing the regulars more often. So I really don't like the way Sega handled Anarchy. It kind of feels like they sent it to die. But yeah, so I really like Sega. I just don't like how they handled Anarchy. Not at all. Left a poor taste in my mouth. It feels great to see new people to this day still try to play the game. Normally when you see Anarchy mentioned on the internet, people just talk about the soundtrack and nothing else. That makes me sad. Like, if all these people who care about the music bought and played the game, maybe it might still be a little active to this day. But it is nice to see new people trying to come in and play the game. Me, I don't have a PS3 anymore. If I still did, I would probably still try to play it on console. But I don't have a PS3 anymore. I really want a port. What made me kind of give up on the port is that, remember when they ported Bayonetta and Vanquish to PC? I was very sad that Anarchy wasn't a part of that. I thought that was the chance. That was gonna be it, and they didn't port it. So I'm pinning my hopes on the PS3 emulator getting better, because it is possible to play matches online. It's just kind of unstable and it's hard to connect. So I really hope the PS3 emulator gets better. That's what I'm placing my hopes on right now, because I've all but given up on the port. I recorded some footage of like an hour of matches. Most of the problem is people disconnecting and not being able to reconnect. It's unstable, but not that unstable. Usually once you get in and you don't disconnect, then it works. The problem is staying connected.
How I got introduced to the game was actually through my friend, my ex-friend Tyler, also known as like Infinity Pistol back in the day on Xbox. He told me about it, and all of his like friends and like some of his family members also played it too, so I got into it. I first heard about it actually in a Game Informer magazine when it was like still in early production, and I saw like little screenshots on like the magazine saying like, oh, this is Anarchy Reigns, this is coming out, you know, whenever, and I was like, oh, this looks interesting, and I didn't know at the time it was by Platinum Games until after. I was like, oh shit, the Bayonetta developers. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I eventually got it, and it was like a very crazy experience. If that was like the word to describe it, it was like crazy when I first played it. It was definitely an experience that I honestly hold dear to me, because like I met some of the best people that I still talk to till this day from that game. So, you know, I will always appreciate my involvement in Anarchy in that sense, because it was just like, okay, these people are actually cool, than opposed to the other communities I've been in, which is like everybody all hates each other, tries to expose each other and all this other stuff. It got personal when it shouldn't have. And I felt like in Anarchy, it didn't really get personal. Yeah, it was online beef, but it was like not, it didn't go to a full extent to like, you know, doxing or all the other shit, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that was like one word I can describe it. It was definitely an experience, like I just can't get over it. Like I actually enjoyed something like during that time, because I used to be a part of the Resident Evil 5 community. It was just like, it was terrible. Until I got into like Anarchy, I was like, oh, this is actually kind of nice, and all the people here are cool. My best friend was from Anarchy, Thomas, so I was just like, Shit, we bonded over talking shit about Paradonyx. Because Paradonyx was like high key a pain in everyone's fucking ass. But I'm cool with him now, but like back then I was just like, yo, I can't stand this bitch. But yeah, that was like my best friend. Like Noah is a good friend, Paris is also a good friend, Paul is a good friend. Like these are people that honestly, like I never would have thought I would actually be friends with in terms of like having like such a long history of a friendship with these people. And it's nice. But the thing is like with Anarchy, it's a game that's been replicated but never duplicated, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you had like that one game that was kind of like Bleeding Edge, and then that flopped and was basically forgotten by Microsoft. Then you have games like Naraka Blade Point. That's kind of like Anarchy, but not really. It's more of it's like the typical battle royale shitboat melee attacks or whatever. If Platinum Games really wants to delve into live service, I feel like that's the game to go for. In terms of like console and like melee beat 'em up style like battle royales, like they were honestly probably the very first to do it. Low key, the problem is Sega. Sega's like literally sitting on a gold mine of untapped potential, possibilities, and creativity. And they ain't doing shit. If it ain't Sonic or whatever the fuck, like, they don't care. And that's the thing that kind of bothers me about them in general. It's like, you know how badly me, Paris, and everyone else in the Anarchy community wants like a remaster or a remake or a sequel to Anarchy Reigns?
Yeah.
It's honestly not fair that you see all these other games getting remasters and shit, but not, you know, anything of like the, you know, the PS3 or 360. I'm pretty sure there's people who want Metal Gear Solid 4 remaster or some shit, you know? I will honestly do anything for the community to come back just for like a couple of matches and just like, you know, just have fun. I do support the emulation because it's like, if they're not gonna remaster that bitch, like, what else are we going to do? Like, you put us up against an unfortunate situation to emulate, but y'all hate emulators, y'all hate this, y'all hate that, but y'all don't want to throw down money to, you know, preserve these fucking games for modern consoles. Like, y'all are assholes for that. Like, there's gonna be a lot of games gonna be lost forever if they don't at least make like a catalog for these games to be actually playable or downloadable online. That's why I think it's kind of stupid for them to get rid of like the Xbox 360 marketplace like they did last year, or the PlayStation PS3 marketplace or whatever. I think it's stupid for them to do that because like you're not getting money, even though people are barely on it still. Like people are willing to pay for shit regardless if it's accessible, you know? But yeah, like it would have been nice if Anarchy Reigns did get like a remaster, a sequel, a remake. Like it would be nice, and people will definitely play it, knowingly that there is actually an audience that paid attention to this game and will actually jump at the opportunity. I actually feel like that if the FGC got more wind of it, it will probably like kick up like a lot more shit for it. You know what I'm saying? Like if Anarchy Reigns got like a sequel and it was actually highly competitive, I can actually see Anarchy Reigns if it did have that like a professional like FGC tournament future. Like I honestly do see it for Anarchy Reigns in that sense, and it will build like a bigger community for that game if it was possible. But I'm just glad that people are still talking about it and still reminiscing about it though, because like I really like the idea of that. Like I support all of it pretty much. As I said before, make enough respectful nuisance and eventually they're gonna answer. Because if they know that people are willing to spend money, they're willing to give you like a little, like perk their ear a little and be like, oh, you were saying? You know, so let's just hope that continues to happen in the progressive, like, sense of progress, basically.
How did I hear about Anarchy? So that was like, I think that was the third game, because I played Bayonetta. That shit was popping, we already know. And I played Vanquish too. I don't know if anybody remembers Vanquish, but it was really short, but it was a good game. And then the trailers for Anarchy started coming out. Me and my brother were getting really hype about that game because the thing is, with the way the game was coming out, because you know how we had that delay in the summer, because we were ready. Like, we were ready to fork up the $60, and then all of a sudden that delay hit. So I just waited till January, which is when the game came out, for $30, and I wasn't expecting much. Because at the time I was just expecting the game to last maybe a month. Because I know I was playing the campaign for a bit when I got the game, just to like get a feel for the game. But I think about like, I would say after the first 2 chapters, like, I gotta jump in online because I don't know how long this shit's gonna last. Much to our surprise, it lasted way longer than any of us thought. I would say after 3 or 4 months, that's when you start running into the same people, and then you just hopped into the voice chat for a bit. Because then that's when we kept running into the, pretty sure Nemesis has his name for them, but we kept running into the same group of people that were like just team killing everyone. And then that's where I met Deadlocked, Last Exile, Vixen. I don't remember her full name. Because we were in the trenches, we had to defend ourselves. That's when I started to realize just how, because I'm the big bull main, that's how I started noticing how efficient I was for crowd control. Because I was getting my ass kicked, but I wasn't going down without a fight. And then that kind of ticked some people off the wrong way because of how good I was defending myself against 3 people. In particular, those people that kept doing that. My biggest issue with that was, okay, you're just killing the game for like other people that are like trying to jump in. Because if, let's say, little Mauricio here wants to start playing Anarchy, and then as soon as he jumps on online, he gets like 4 people trying to kill him at the same time. That's not gonna motivate him to keep playing. So I was like, we have to take a stand. Like, me and Daily back in those days, me, Deadlocked, Exile, we would jump in, Vixen too, and we just like, because in the matchmaking, you'd have to like jump in right away, otherwise you get those mismatch teams. And if somebody from their team joins your team, they're just gonna start like slacking off, going elsewhere. Like, it was crazy. Everybody on 360 had like their own squad per se, because it was just driven that way. Because if you join in by yourself, you're on your own. Because then whatever team you run into, I'm pretty sure they've been playing for months, and they already have their squad. They have their, and then they be using those really OP. I wouldn't say OP because eventually you'll get through it, but like Guard Master. I forgot most.
Killjoy with 0 combinations.
Oh yeah, that shit.
How do you feel towards like Sega mainly? Because I've asked everybody this, like, towards their sentiment with Sega, how the way they handled the game regarding just marketing and like just having people's eyes on it. Because even I remember during a time that we've all talked about, and we ended up like seeing even out there, the developers for Anarchy Reigns, even they were like upset and like frustrated with like just how the way that it got handled over here in the West.
Oh, they dropped the ball 100%. Like, the game was literally, it was done. It was ready. It was either July or August, and I think me and my brother, either we graduated high school or we were ready for that shit. And then all of a sudden they delayed it for America till January. So if it was back then, I would have remembered because I had this shit on lock. But
yeah, I can't remember if anything was coming out.
Maybe that DMC with the fucking weirdo Dante was coming out, but that's it. I don't know if it was 2/3 of the way. They took most of the developers off Anarchy to start working on Revengeance, especially after Sega delayed the game, because it was like, yeah, they might as well work on Revengeance, because when Revengeance came out and it sold, that was their highest selling game, because of the Metal Gear brand, and of course Rules of Nature goes with everything, all the memes. To this day, we don't know why they delayed the game, because you destroyed the hype when you delayed the game. Because then after that, they didn't do anything like to keep promoting the game. They just left it on ice. The people that bought the game from Japan and were like streaming it and shit, they were promoting the game more than Sega ever did. We all know January is the date, the month. You just release a game to like get it over with. Because by December, everybody spent all their money on, even with movies, same thing. January is like the month you just, whatever, fill the schedule.
You ever look back and just think about just how much everyone was just really much more tight-knit and actually just knew everyone from veterans to just new players trying to get in? Because I even remember there was like a few new players that was trying to get in, and everyone was like actually like teaching them how to do Twitch cancels and just everything.
I mean, I love that. That would always stay with me for like the rest of my life. Like this little ass bum ass game that got sent out to die had like one of the best communities on 360, because I don't know PS3 obviously because I never played, but one of the best communities I've ever been in. Like hell, that's where I met my girlfriend and we're still together to this day. But in terms of new players, because we wanted the game to grow, because you see this little seed in the ground and trying to grow it as much as you can, because even to this day there is still nothing in the market like Anarchy. So we always like when we see new people like genuinely trying to like, hey, I'm playing the game, like yeah, let's show them tricks, what each character is like based on, good at, what you like. Because we just wanted new players. Low key, some of us were tired of playing each other every time, because you can only sharpen each other's so far. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my battles with Deadlocked, my battle with Last Exile. I got so PTSD'd with fighting Faerins that I loved fighting them because they were my biggest challenge. But yeah, we just wanted the game to grow. I don't know who it was that invited, it might have been Deadlocked that invited me to voice chat. Like, hey, I see you trying to keep you're trying to stay strong against these people like fucking jumping you, teabagging you, and all this shit. Like, there's some shit. And then you would actively see the same people doing the same shit. And if they're doing it to others, you're trying to help them. This is like how the Unity started. And then we just started like voice chatting and shit and going from there.
So how do you feel like seeing that the game currently is still having a pulse?
I'm surprised. Because Loki, I haven't looked at the Discord that I made for like years. I mean, of course, I've been busy with life and stuff, and I'm kind of surprised that, not surprised, but like, at least do some shitty ass port to PC. Like, here you go, peons, figure it out. See, I did have a thought, because you heard about how Sonic Unleashed from the 360 was put on PC.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically what they're doing with 64 games, where they're building it up themselves and putting it on PC. Mm-hmm. With all the PC features. They're building it up from scratch. Potentially, they say they can do that for all 360 games. So if anybody cares enough, maybe they can do it for the 360 version of Anarchy.
Oh gosh. I think so the game in itself, it's chaotic, complete. I mean, it sounds cheesy, but Anarchy, like, it holds to its name. Truly, it does. There's just too much going on, but in a good way. Like, you love it. You want to hoard the points, and you know, it was definitely ahead of its time. How I heard about Anarchy was completely I actually didn't know anything about it. I happened to at the time I was browsing like Xbox 360 games at a local GameStop, and I saw the cover, and you know, I saw the Blacker Baron, and I was like, is that a pimp? And then I looked at it more, and I'm all like, is this a fighting game? Is this a pimp in a fighting game? And I just had to investigate. I purchased it right on the spot, and I played it, and I'm like, whoa, this is way better than I thought it would be. I thought it would be like, you know, Street Fighter type of thing where it's like 3D, but like 2D type of, you know, game style. No, it was not. And man, I got addicted to AR for a hot minute. Yeah, I don't know. It was a small community. but I liked it. You know, it was my 360 pals, my buddies, my homies. And I think, you know, the whole Xbox 360, if you wanted to go on live, you had to like do the whole purchase. I think that's what made it like a more smaller group per se. Honestly, I felt like it was very, you're either in this side or that side, which was very like, I don't want to say like high school-ish, but a majority of the people were really nice. So like, I remember you were the Douglas guy, and then Noah was the Big Bull guy, and then I know I'm the Rin Rin person because I didn't know anyone else that really touched Rin Rin. Everyone was more into the sisters and their glitches, you know? I felt like I was the only one. I loved her. No, I still love Rin Rin. She's dope. If I could go back to the game, yeah, she'd be my main again. I don't know. I really do miss it. I remember always, whenever we met new people, we were usually very welcoming, and it's like, oh yeah, we could try this level. Oh yeah, you could try these moves on me. And like, it was very nice. I know AR was like ahead of its time though. Like that was kind of the only thing, like, it felt lonely. I was like, this game is so good. I feel like it should branch out more into like, what is it? Like further into the online. Like if we could bring it back today, I think it'd be perfect because there is still nothing like AR. Like you don't have the type of like fighting techniques in battle royale type of thing. I mean, you might go and get guns here and there, but it's not like Fortnite where it's all like, oh, okay, this is my equipped gun for the rest of the thing. No, it was more like Super Smash Brothers Melee where it's all like, oh, here's like a little gun or an item for a tiny bit, you know.
How do you feel towards the whole Sega situation regarding of how the way they've handled it?
So if we sold it before like Christmas time, I think that would have been like perfect. Like even before things, they already had it.
Mm-hmm.
And that leaves me baffled. I don't know why they would just be like, oh, let's wait until after the holidays. When everyone's Christmas fatigue and just relaxing and it's the new year. Yeah, no, I have no idea why Sega did that. I know sometimes companies do that, and it really sucks on Sega that if that's the case, let's say maybe there was a Sonic game that was coming out and, you know, they're milking the cash cow, and then poor Anarchy Reigns is just kind of like the chewed up gum stuck on your shoe, you know, kind of like mentality where it's just like, oh, just take it out. Take it out whenever. But Sonic, we need that before the holidays. You know, like, I don't know. I know Capcom kind of does that with its Street Fighter cash cow too, and it's all like, the other games, please. That is sad that I do feel like that the fans in the community were doing more than the company itself that made the game. If I could somehow bring it back, I think the best way to maybe introduce it again, if there's a way, well, I can't say that magic E word. You know what? I'll just say it. You can censor me out later. Emulate. If we can emulate it and make sure that it can go online, especially now with like what we have, you know, we got Kick, we got YouTube, Twitch. There's so many ways to like express it. And again, there's nothing. I still believe there's nothing of its kind still to this day. I think if there's a way to revive it, I think we can go and get a train coming up. Like at least for the PlayStation, you know, side, since 360 is, you know, I'm not gonna go and pay $30 for that one video game.
Yeah, the community still has a pulse, and just like you just mentioned that magic E word, there is a working PS3.
Oh my gosh, no! For online?
Mm-hmm. It fully works online, but it's a little bit janky. It crashes at random here and there, but it's slowly getting better and better. But you can actually fully play it online.
I'm still just like mind blown that this is done again, not from Platinum doing it themselves. It's from the fans. It is the fans that are trying to like bring it back. They're like performing necromancy to bring back a dead game, and like that's dope though. It breaks my heart because just again, Anarchy was just well, you did bring up the good news, so I am happy about that. But like I just remember when it was just slowly dying, and I was all like, this game just ready. It wasn't ready. it was too advanced for the time when it came out.
I heard of the game from a friend of mine. They were talking about it. They were on, it was either Sega's website or something like that. But we saw the game trailer. And it was like, hey, you like Mad World, right? Well, it looks like they're coming out with another sequel. And they showed me the Jack Kamen trailer. And I'm like, hey, that's Jack Kamen. That's the guy from Mad World. So yeah, it is going to be a sequel. But they was like, oh, it's going to be a spinoff, you know, not exactly related to the game itself. But either way, it was all about the gameplay, all about the chaos, the anarchy, you know, pretty much what the name inscribes. Anarchy reigns, or better yet, as the Japanese name, Max Anarchy.
Yeah.
You know, it's just all about mayhem, the random bullshit that happens in the game, and just how you fight in between, like, the environment or another player, all that stuff. But yeah, looked that up. Was pretty much happy to have a game like that finally show up and come out, because I felt like this was around the 360 era. There wasn't many games like that. You know, there wasn't too many beat 'em up brawlers, free for all brawlers, 3D fighters, whatever you want to call it. There was not too many of that at all. You know, and it was something different too, something unique. I don't think I remember my first match right offhand, but I know for a fact that I think my first no. It was my first game was actually Death Ball, believe it or not. And I was like, hey, I could play football, but then I'm realizing, oh, everybody's just beating the hell out of each other, and I'm like, oh, well, I can do that too. Why not? And at the time when I first played, it was amazing. It was like I said, it was different. I was still learning the game. I was pretty fucking bad too. I was mashing, I was pressing buttons, I was doing whatever. The point is, it was hella fun. You know, another game that I had to pick up and learn and find out mechanics of each different person in the game. And at the time, of course, I had to find my main. And believe, if you know, like, you know me long enough, so you know my first main was actually Max.
Yeah.
Before Black Baron. And that kind of goes back to my name, because apparently at one point I became it was a mix. It was between self-proclaimed and claimed by others the best Blacker Baron on Xbox. As in, people saw me enough, and to the point they were like, oh, it's that guy that plays Baron. Or he's so good with Baron, like, you don't want to mess with him, and you don't want to get in his way, otherwise he's going to just straight up kill you and all that shit. So at one point I just developed a reputation. You know, it was good and bad. People thought, oh, well, that guy's just arrogant as fuck and, you know, annoying and blah blah blah. And other people were like, oh, he's pretty cool, you know, just don't piss him off. And they're partially right. You know, I was a different person then compared to now. I mean, although some old habits die hard, I'm not gonna lie. It is the 28th. It's 2025. To still talk about the game like it just came out yesterday. Imagine. Not too many games will get you like that.
Now, how do you feel like with how the way Sega handled Anarchy Reigns?
So I'll try to keep it as professional as possible from this point forward about criticism. Sega treated it poorly, mainly because, one, its advertisement in the West in general was terrible. There was little to no record about the game coming out at all. You still have people finding out about this game like this year, this month, and they're like, oh, I've never heard of this game before. Like, when did it come out? And they're like, wow, it looks awesome. Like, why is this not a thing? Just, it never got good word out. It never got the rep that it deserved, period. And the fact that Mad World was a popular game, it was a hit game for the Wii. And so many people knew about it as one of the more grotesque games, as in it was really bloody, it was really vulgar, violent, visceral. The OST for both games are nothing but hits, period. Like, you hear the music everywhere, but you don't see the game anywhere. And that's what's crazy about it, in general. But Sega, again, like I said before, it deserved better. It could have been represented better. It could have been handled better. Like, The game has its, light glitches here and there, a few bugs, but it wasn't to the point where it's unplayable. Kind of annoying to deal with, yeah, but something they could have easily fixed. And on top of that, I feel like if the game was properly taken care of, it could have had a really lifelong span. I don't know, I'm kind of amazed. The fact that people even still just look the game up, pick up and play it, the fact that sometimes I even still see clips about it on Twitter, hell, the fact that I'm even still talking about it now is something. Say about 10 years ago, I gave up on it. I was like, yeah, we're not going to get that again. That was a once in a lifetime experience. And for what it was, I would love to just, if I could go back in time, I would love to just do it all over again. I very much would.
I believe I heard about Anarchy Reigns / Max Anarchy through Platinum's social media. One word to describe the game is just chaos. It is the pure embodiment of chaos in a game. Everything and everyone is out for you unless you're on a team with somebody else. And then having a teammate that worked together with you and looked out for you during all of that chaos is there's nothing really like that. And I still have an itch for that game constantly. Even after all these years, there's nothing that comes close to scratching that itch. It is its own game, and it was, and still is, it's ahead of its time. We have all these battle arena games now, and I feel like Anarchy Reigns walked and tripped and fell down thanks to Sega, so all of those other battle arena games could thrive. Sega's treatment of the game is really bizarre because they handled Bayonetta and Vanquish. They seem to handle those very well. I remember seeing Bayonetta ads in a UFC ring next to Burger King, of all things, and then they sat and delayed Anarchy Reigns for a year with no advertising or anything. I remember Platinum had character trailer, really, really nice looking character trailers that existed, and I don't understand why Sega did what they did to it, especially with all the great voice acting and everything that was there from the beginning. The Anarchy Reigns community was the only online gaming community I ever really got involved in, and also fully felt accepted in due to the diversity of the community and players. There was literally everyone from all walks of life, every background, every group, orientation, all of that. I've never felt such a diverse community of people who I don't think I would normally see interact with each other out of the game. I know people that got married because of that game. I have met people in real life that I would have never met or been affiliated with outside of the game. The way it brought people together, despite how chaotic and enraging the game can be at times, the fact that it's still managed to bring so many people together with that chaos is something special. I don't think any other game has done that before, at least through my perspective.
If I had to describe it in one word, it would be swag. You can do an elbow drop off the top of a skyscraper and just dome a motherfucker in the skull. You can't get cooler than that. Everything in this game is just the single most stylish, cool option you could think of in a fighting game. And you can just absolutely beast on people, in so many different ways. When I first heard about it, it was actually from a Super Best Friends Play video. It was a YouTube channel, super group. They've all gone their separate ways now, but it was 10 plus years ago. They did a episode of their Brawl series where they did a bunch of kind of party games with 3 players, and they did an episode on Anarchy Reigns. And in that episode they talked about how the game was not really marketed at all, how it was released. It was basically stealth dropped with no advertisement on US shores after being delayed for like close to a year. And I was just like, this is the coolest game. It has all the Mad World characters that I liked. I'm just gonna go get it. And I found it for like $3 in a bargain bin. Took it home, played it, beat it in a weekend. It was great. The biggest issue, like, aside from just the complete lack of advertisement and the weird delay for literally no reason, because from what I've heard, the game was done and they just refused to release it for multiple months. Like, so many just complete boneheaded decisions were made in the production, the marketing, and like even the I know production development, similar thing, but I don't know why they should have had more faith in it. Like, it seemed like Sega higher-ups just, like, they looked at the mountain of decisions that they had already made in producing this game and went, fuck it, just shove it out. We gotta make some money off of it. But if they'd given it more of a chance, like, it is a absolute cult classic game, and it's a shame that it is handled the way it is. Well, when I got the Western version, it was a couple years after the fact, and Discord wasn't a thing yet, so I didn't really have any way to set up matches. I would, whenever I tried to play the game, I'd at least go into the lobby, like the online lobby, for a little bit to try and find some match, but I never found anyone, because fortunately no one was playing. So most of my online community experience has been kind of missing the boat on when people set up online lobbies, unfortunately. I would love to have a bit of a sidetrack. You know about the static recompiling project? Just to explain for the video people. Basically, some people who were working on another Sega game, Sonic Unleashed specifically, figured out a way to turn Xbox 360 native games into native PC running games. And the moment I heard about that, I got super fucking excited because of the possibility of playing Anarchy Reigns on a PC with a good online lobby system, with just something that isn't as jank as trying to go into Discord at like 2 p.m. and hope that enough people are around to fill up an 8-person lobby. I am a big advocate of like digital preservation. I think that we are hitting the stage where some games are in danger of being just permanently lost, and so I'm glad people are taking those extra steps to keep these games alive and running.
Is there anything you would love to say to the Anarchy Reigns community? Old, new players, or just those that are curious, wanting to get into the game and still trying to figure out a way to go about it?
If you want a game that's chaotic, fun, and extremely stylish, Anarchy Reigns is the game for you, honestly. And to the people who are in the community or had been in the community and still have such high regards to this community, thank you so much for, being the backbone of what we have here. And you keep the community strong, and thank you.
Well, I don't know many players coming back to the game, because believe me, I tried to I mention Anarchy all the time, especially to the old PS3 community, the people I used to play with. They tell me to shut up. To the new players, I think it's great that they've taken the interest in Anarchy. The game's not that hard to play. My suggestion to someone who is new to Anarchy, I'm sure there are a lot of combo videos and whatnot on YouTube. I know that. There's also the simulator. You could mess around in the simulator and get used to the modes, because each mode has its own rules and whatnot. Find a couple of characters you like and stick with them. I pretty much only used 3 characters, which was Garuda, Gargoyle, and Leo. So find 2 characters you like, stick with them. Learn the techniques, learn the combo, learn how the mode works, and the game will be fun. It's pretty easy, it's pretty simple.
For new players, at least have someone or a group go in the pool with you, because I don't think it's as bad as back in the day when the game came out. And then don't go on online right away, just like jump in campaign, because initially like Big Bull was in my group of characters I wanted to try, because he's the first one you interact with the boss, and I was like, okay, I'm in love, this is my guy, I don't care anymore. But yeah, play the campaign, unlock some of the necessary abilities, because I think there's some you have to unlock after reaching a certain level. But yeah, just go in with a good mentality, like, hey, this game isn't like all that, but if you get a good amount of people, you're gonna have a blast. Like, this, I know this, like, I wouldn't care if I fucking won every match or lost, but we always had great laughs. And if the game glitches, that's part of the game. Now, say for veterans, like, what the game is. You don't have to go all in, like lock in every match. But that's something like I wouldn't go all in like right away unless they wanted to. Like, oh no, you gotta hit me with your best. I'm like, oh okay. Just start Twitch canceling, lean extending all over the place like a fucking maniac. I'm like, how is this big guy moving so fast? But yeah, they just like nurture the game, because this game still has potential, but it needs to be either somebody needs to like take the mantle and make something with this base. If they do that reverse compilation thing and put it on PC and give it all the PC features, that could go up another level, because then you never know what could come from that. Because then the modding community could just jump in and just start adding shit.
So for all the new people, hello and welcome. I hope you enjoy the game. Just find the people that you're super. I guess that you work. I don't want to say that you only work with. Well, try everyone. You might be surprised. Maybe you're a super big tank person, but you're better with the robot versus like, Douglas or Nikolai. I notice once people find their favorite, that's their AR baby forever and ever, and that's okay. Or like if you're like a Swiftie person, like maybe Feyrin's your type, or maybe Sasha. I see people be like badass with them, But yeah, you know what? Don't be shy to try out new people. Check out like your combos. Again, you might fall in love with a character you didn't think you would give a shit about. I've seen Oinky players. I thought they were messing around. And it's like, nah, that dude's my favorite. So, but yeah, never be shy. A majority of people are usually nice. So don't let that one, dirty butthole ruin your day. Just block them and go on. Again, majority of people are usually nice and willing. To any of the older players, hi, hook me up. I miss y'all. And if not, let's see. I hope everyone's well. And anyone that was an asshole in the older community, chill the fuck out. Don't be mean. We will find you. Not dox them or anything, but we will probably like teabag them or something, like, yeah.
For the new players first. New players in general. You're picking up and playing this game, or hell, just even found interest and want to try it, stick with it. If you feel like you're forcing yourself to play and try to learn it, don't play it. If you're genuinely interested and want to play and the game feels good to you and fun, and a breath of fresh air compared to what we have now, or if you're just tired of seeing the same old shit, you know, just pick up and play it and keep playing it, stick with it, and eventually you'll get to the point where you understand the game and you'll feel a whole lot better about it. You know, sometimes you gotta embrace a little anarchy in your life. Get what I'm saying? Now, and for the veteran players, some of you might already know who I am. Some of you might have already played against me. Or some of you might have heard, maybe not heard about me, or still trying to figure who the hell this guy is. Well, I'll tell you what, as a veteran myself and someone who's actually played and know the game, hope you don't run into me if I decide to play again or somehow start playing on this PC, like this PlayStation port. But, I mean, outside of that, you don't bully the new kids too much. You know, try to teach them the game, at least. Show them what they can do and all that. And if they ask to, you know, be beaten on until they learn the game, do so. But yeah, try to be nice. That's all.
Advice I would say is there are some old video tutorials of the game, because I know the game, despite as simple as it is difficult to get the hang of, especially not just like landing combos or anything, but landing that initial hit, similar to labbing in a traditional fighting game. Even if you know your combos, catching somebody in that game with a stray hit at a high level is extremely hard with the amount of defense options they have, which in a lot of modern fighting games, those defense options are extremely lacking. Just the fact that people can infinite dodge, people don't understand just the neutral in that game is really weird, because while infinite dodging is extremely strong, twitch canceling on pressure is also extremely strong, and I feel like those two do balance each other out. But then you have all of your abilities you can equip, like the lean extender, and for certain other characters, possibly charge attacker like Hilda. But with how awful she is, you don't see her very often, unfortunately. But I could say the same thing about Big Bull, and Big Bull with lean extender is if you are familiar with the community at all, there is a couple of character specialists for Big Bull with lean extender that would literally kidnap you across the stage with lean extender into the corner to kill you. And same could be said with a couple of Hilda players, myself included, with one partially charged slap to the face to break your guard into a kill combo. Again, with the defense options, they're very hard to land. Everything else going on outside of the 1v1 interaction with all the other players, the stage interactables, the stage hazards, the neutral and feel of the game is very hard to get into.
And where can people find you? If you YouTube or any socials out there, is there any way for people to stay in touch with you if they want to follow you?
Tell you there is not. But if you join the Anarchy Reigns Discord server, feel free to converse with me there. I'm there all the time, even when it may not seem like it.
All my socials is basically Vulixie, VULIXIE. But on Twitter, there's add an S because obviously someone took that one. So, but yes, all my social medias are the same name. I like to keep it consistent, but that's where you can contact me. My YouTube, I'm basically doing like Resident Evil content until I get bored of that, and I'll migrate to like other forms of content. I might stream on Twitch again soon, but I don't know what I'm going to be streaming. Like, everything's all up in the air. I'm more concerned with doing art right now, so if you hit me up on Instagram, which under the same name, you'll see my art. And that's what I've been mostly focused on, is all my art since I got an iPad, so I'm doing digital art now. So if y'all ever want to commission me, my prices are reasonable at $600. No, just kidding, fucking $15. But yeah, it's like, just hit me up, message me.
My YouTube channel, which is Anarchy7906, is your best option. I do check Discord daily, so hit me up on Discord is good as well. I'm not active on Twitter. I don't post much on Twitter, but I do check my Twitter account daily. which is Anon7906 as well.
My Twitch is Puff Mangoes at twitch.com. Hi. I'm such a boomer with electronics, y'all. I try.
So I said my old name was Deadlocked since I like kind of abandoned that a long time ago. You can find me as Angry Antihero now, and that's both on Twitter and on Discord. And the H in Antihero is capitalized.
Aside from maybe YouTube, I don't have any really public social medias. While my Xbox tag was Hater Fisternator, I currently go by Wava Otter at the current events I do attend.
Is there any shout outs you'd like to give out there?
The first shout out I'd like to give to was Last Exile. You know, Paul, he's cool peeps. Met him the first time I played, and his annoying ass Douglas, but, you know, that's one. Another one would be, he went by Oreo, but his actual name is Randy. He knows what I'm talking about. He's cool peeps. Of course, Pele, aka NemesisQueen, somebody I still talk to like almost every day now. Hell, even Lohi, because we had a little rivalry going, but, you know, he's cool now. So, oh, well, there's Sakine, or Tsukine. Tsukine. She's pretty much, I think, a big VTuber now, but she was cool peeps. Pretty cool favorite, you know. There's Vagrant Sun, of course. Miss you, buddy. Wish I can meet you again. Don't know where you went off to. Of course, Dr. Nobody, because why not? Manny. Like there's so many people, and I'm just trying to bring it all back. Oh, somebody from the PlayStation side. Shit. He played Bayonetta. I talked to him. DZ Kojaku. Cool peeps. Talked to him. Hell, I talked to him like I believe 2 days ago on Twitter. I don't know how it's taking so long to bring his name up, but he's cool peeps. I swear to God, like I can go on YouTube right now and find his name, but like I'll do it later. But it's that guy because he pushed me to get better at this game. And then there was another Zero player that beat me up in a beta that I swore I would get my lick back on, and I did, but I don't know his name either. And then there's Paradonix, the guy that pushed me to be better in this game because his Sasha and his Feyrin is fucking nasty. I can't leave him out of the picture. Like he was one of the big three in the game. Like if you wanted to get better at the game, you fight him. So if I missed you, I'm sorry. I didn't, you know, it's not like that. Don't get mad at me, please.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Maximilian Dude, Play Anarchy Reigns. I'm gonna give a shout out to Matt McMuscles and the entire Super Best Friends team. Without them, I wouldn't have experienced Anarchy Reigns to the fullest and gotten to see the 3-on-1, the 2-on-1 bullshit shenanigans like that this game brings. I want to shout out, I believe in the FGC he is known as Mugshotter. He is doing a lot of great work in preserving old and kind of defunct fighting games. Like he's big into Dissidia and Soul Calibur 2, and he's good at putting eyes where they need to be. So I hope he gives Anarchy Reigns a shot. I hate to say it, but Anarchy Reigns has become like even passively kind of like a core part of my identity. Just it's something that really shaped me, and I'm so grateful to everyone that did their due diligence in going, hey, this is a platinum game that not a lot of people have heard of. Let's signal boost it.
It is very beautiful to me to just be able to just see the community itself just come together in a time like this, especially whether new or old veteran players or even just enthusiasts that are just very casual but love the atmosphere, the universe, just everything about the game, just being able to come together and speak on this. And that's why I find so important for game preservation to really just keep being a thing going forward into the future, because we've already lost the 360 marketplace. Then there's no telling if we'll end up in the future losing the PS3 store down the line, which I don't think it's gone right now, but who knows how long that clock is going to be ticking when it ends up one day just disappearing overnight. And that's just thousands of games that were either exclusive to that store just being lost, never preserved or anything. That's why I find it like just so fascinating, like even with the idea of like how Sonic Unleashed ended up being reverse engineered on the 360 to be recompiled for PC with its own PC fan port. And that is something that I hope we could end up seeing down the line for Anarchy Reigns and other future games that really desperately need a port of some factor. If I had the means and understanding to be able to do this, I actually would do it myself. But I hope one day we could end up just having someone with the knowledge to be able to just preserve a wonderful piece of action game history. Something that I felt lightning in the bottle came out too early, too ahead of its time, which a tale that is old as time. There are so many different games out there that have fell into the situation like this. So I do want to sit there and say thank you to every single one of you that have been a part of making of this video. Everyone that I have interviewed regarding the Anarchy Reigns video, like I have to give y'all a shout out once again to every single one of you. Dr. Nobody, Deadlocked, Robo Ducky, TJ Lockhart, NemesisQueen, Roasted. Especially, I cannot forget you, Hater Fistinator. just our long talks more than anything. Like it was just a blast from the past. And that is something that I will say, the beautiful nature behind this game. Even Anon 7906, I cannot forget you, man. Like, it has been so long, and especially just being able to see a lot of these faces once again. It is such a wonderful breath of fresh air to me just to be able to just speak to every single one of you once again and just catch up. But on top of that, all of us just sharing just that one common itch for Anarchy, just to be able to dive back into the chaos. I've tried so many different games out there, even myself. Nothing really just scratched that itch like Anarchy Reigns did. And sadly, I really feel we just won't see anything like that again. It was lightning in a bottle. But if you enjoyed today's video, please give a like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you can stay updated of any new videos coming to the channel. I will also have the links for everyone's socials out there, along with the Discord for Anarchy Reigns as well. So if you guys want to hop in there and just chat, speak to some of the people that are around in there, people are still playing on the consoles and also giving a shot on the PS3 emulator as well. Even though, like I mentioned before, it's a little bit janky, you do have to do custom configuration to at least get that one to run a little bit smoother. But once you get it going, it's golden. I will say at least. But anyways, y'all, it's Blightmore here, signing out. Catch you later, folks. And keep on gaming. And let's keep the flame going for Anarchy Reigns. We'll be the ones to sit there and continuing holding the torch. Not only holding the torch, but keeping the memories, the friends, the many people that we've come across in this game alive. Peace, y'all.